So I'm sitting at my desk, and this player just walks up and says whatever he says, and he drops his shorts, and he is completely naked, just exposed, and basically inviting me to take part right there in broad daylight, in the middle of the office, in the middle of the workday. And no one around said anything. No one thinks anything of it. He laughs. He walks back to practice or back to meetings, wherever he went. And he is married. It's just normal. And then he did it to at least one other woman.
That is a woman who used the name Denise to protect her anonymity in comments made to the HBO Real Sports podcast. Those comments made the rounds last night. Today, there will be former employees of the Washington football team, now the Washington Commanders, meeting with a congressional committee for what they're calling a hybrid roundtable. It's not a full-blown hearing. Nobody from the Washington football team, I have to get used to not calling them that now, I'm calling them the Commanders. No one from the team will be there. No one from the league will be there. But this is the next step in the process of getting to the point where Congress pulls out into the light of day the information that was harvested during the investigation that was conducted by attorney Beth Wilkinson. That's what they're trying to do here. And I think part of this is political theater, and it's compelling and it's necessary to get people to understand what these folks experienced. When you hear their stories that the NFL is trying to keep covered up, maybe more people will say, this can't stand. People have to come forward. People have to be allowed to come forward, and the NFL has to come forward with what it learned, because none of the specific information that was discovered during the investigation has ever been disclosed under this clumsy, disingenuous notion that we promised some of the employees anonymity, so we must treat everything that we learned from any employees with complete and total secrecy, and we're not going to tell you any of it. That goes too far, and that's a convenient way to cover up things that you don't want becoming public, Big Cat.
Yeah. You obviously know a lot more about this than I do as a former lawyer who never lost a case. Yeah, I mean, this will be interesting to see how it plays out. You never lost a case.
I never lost a case.
No,
I never lost a case. I never lost a case I won. Wasn't that it?
No, you never lost a case that you didn't win. That's my say.
You came up with that tagline at one point. It was beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. You never lost a case that you didn't win. Yes, that is a fact. I've never lost a bet that I didn't win. But it will be interesting. I will say compliment to Mike Florio. Mike, whenever these type of stories come out, is always right on top of it. And he actually explains it in terms that dumb brains like myself can actually understand.
And unfortunately, there are more and more and more of them. It's kind of flooding the wheelhouse with things that are forcing me to relive my days as a practicing lawyer. But this is one where, and we've got the story with the various complaints that were made and the statements that were made and the allegations. There's some stuff that's involving Daniel Snyder. Nothing that would be, oh my God, he must sell the team. See, I think they're trying to, and there may be something like that lurking out there. I think they have hidden all of this for three reasons. Number one, they don't want to put Daniel Snyder in a position where he's going to have to do the Jerry Richardson thing and throw the keys and sell the team and move on. Number two, they don't want other owners to be held to a similar standard, where disgruntled employees can make accusations, light this fuse, it blows up, it's a problem, you do an investigation, at the end of the day, this information comes out, you have other owners who may have to sell their teams. And I think as it relates to this investigation, this dawned on me a few weeks ago. There was an op-ed written in the Washington Post, I believe, or maybe it was the New York Times, by one of the former employees. I think the NFL, the league office, is trying to avoid tough questions about what the league office knew, when the league office knew it, and why the league office did not intervene to protect these persons from ongoing misconduct that the league office knew was occurring. That's another reason why they're covering this all up. And Roger Goodell earning his $65 million per year by showing up at press conferences and giving these disingenuous responses with a straight face as to why they're not disclosing this information. And back to Brian Flores, this is one of the things that I've been meaning to write at PFT. There's a whole section on the John Gruden emails and how they prove the systemic racism in the NFL. The Flores litigation may provide a path to get to the information that the NFL, at least some of the information that the NFL refuses to disclose.
Ooh, that would be interesting. See, that's a new nugget that Mike Florio just taught me. I mean, it feels like it could unlock new doors.
and get to the truth. And that's all we're asking for. I'm not trying to cause trouble for anyone. I just think that because the NFL is such a significant part of the fabric of America, there are so many millions of people who watch every game that's on TV, so many millions of people who are betting on the NFL, following it, spending their time on it, there are certain things that cannot be brushed under the rug. And that's the pushback I'll get. Well, it's a private business. It can do it. Well, it's really not a private business. It's a private business that relies upon the money, the time, and the attention of the public to exist. So many of these things that happen are inherently public, and people look to the NFL for guidance and just follow the lead on what the NFL does and how they do things. They talk about taunting. We don't want kids to act the way that players are acting, so we're throwing a flag on them so kids won't act the same way. Okay, well, you don't want employers to act the same way. You don't want supervisors to act the same way. You want this stuff to be out there so people know what they can't do. It's really not that difficult, but I think the NFL is trying to protect itself. And the harder they try to keep this information from coming to light, I'm convinced they are hiding, as it relates to the Washington football team and the investigation and maybe what the league knew and when the league knew it, I think they are hiding something gigantic. It's just a spider sense. I think they're hiding something gigantic.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.